Well, you look confident from the outside, but then when you are alone, the mask fades. If you keep performing confidence instead of building it, eventually your relationships and interactions with others are not going to feel real anymore. And I've been there. And here's the shit that finally stopped that collapse. So first of all, every time you leave an interaction, you feel like this pressure finally releasing. When you're at home, when no one is watching, you feel deeply insecure. And every time you leave an interaction, you feel exhausted. And if you keep doing that, you're going to waste your energy and no one is going to know the real you. You're never going to have real, authentic relationships and friendships. And all of this is happening because your brain thinks that performing a confident mask is going to keep you safe, is going to protect you. But the thing is that the more you do this, the more your brain is going to associate danger with being your true self with others. Do you want to live a fake ass life? Well, what I tell you that there is a way that no one talks about that is going to solve all this. So your confidence is not going to collapse every time you end up alone. First shift, stop being fake. The key to build confidence that doesn't collapse once you are at home alone with yourself is not by continuing to rely on external validation in order to boost your ego temporarily. Because in this way, you will never build trust in yourself. Instead, take actions that you want to take in private. For example, read that book, go to the gym. Those things are like training grounds for building your confidence, because the more you keep promises to yourself, the more you do things that you want to do in private without seeking external validation, without being flashy and bragging about it in public, the more you are building this type of unshakable confidence also in private. As a result, also when you're going to be alone, you're going to feel proud of yourself, confident, as if you are that shit, you are that bad bitch. You know what I mean? Slowly but surely, that confidence is going to become natural for you, like it did for me. Rejection is no longer going to scare the shit out of you, because it's not going to shake your sense of worth and collapse your sense of identity. And now, you're someone who can trust themselves and feel good about themselves even when no one is watching. But this was only step number 1, because shift number 2 is literally what moves the needle, in my opinion. Second shift! You keep acting cool at school so you can receive the validation of others. You can be at the center of the attention so you can boost, again, your ego. And then once you are alone, you are just a completely different person. Every time your friends say to you, oh, do you want to smoke or do you want to go to the party? You say yes. Even though internally you feel this tension and pressure inside of you that says, no, what the fuck are you doing? Because you know deep down that you don't like going to parties because you feel drained and you don't like smoking. But then you just do it because you want to be popular and accepted by your peers. Every time you do this, you are pushing your authentic self away and you're rewiring your brain to think that you cannot prioritize yourself. You cannot value your own decisions. But instead, your brain is going to associate survival with blending in, with doing things that other people, all your peers are doing, with performing a certain version of you that doesn't feel true to your own true self. You don't recognize yourself anymore. For example, obviously I never smoked and go to parties. I was like one of those shy girls, but I would still perform a different version of myself with, all these friends that I had. And I would look desperate because I wanted to, become their friends and don't look lonely. And I really ignored what I was thinking about all these people that I was desperately wanting to become friends with. So once I started to honor my own values in, who I allow to have access to me, to surround myself with, because I realized that I'm a girl who is very ambitious, productive, and into self-development at such a young age. So I shouldn't be surrounded by all these people who don't share my same values. So instead of looking desperate and wanting to become friends because I don't want to be alone and just like masking myself into becoming someone who I didn't want it to become when I was around this type of friends, I started to cut all these friends off. I started to stop doing what they asked me to do or adopt that kind of a behavior and personality that would make them accept me. And I started to say, okay, now I'm going to cut them off. I'm going to do some solo dates, prioritize my true authentic self and values. Again, I'm going to know myself even more deeply. So that's what I want you to do. Start to go to eat at restaurants alone, or go to the cinema alone, or go in the city center and walk alone, and try to understand who you are in private. What are your values in friendships, or what is your passion? That's how I discovered my purpose and passion for content creation and self-development. If I never cut all these people off and realized my own values, I would never end up here talking to you guys. That's how you become authentically yourself, also outside in public. Even though maybe at first it's going to feel uncomfortable for your brain, like I was extremely anxious to look alone, be alone at school. That's the truth. The more you avoid the discomfort of being authentically yourself in public with other people at school, with your friends and peers, the more you're repeating the same freaking old cycle. Because remember, we are living this life for us and not for other people. Eventually, we are all going to die. We are living in a floating mother effing rock. And why are you performing a version of yourself that isn't authentically aligned with your own values when you are out in public, at school, at work? Just to boost your ego and feel comfortable and safe by blending in? Trust me, it's not worth it. And once you realize that completely and take the uncomfortable actions, you can start small, okay? By maybe passing less time with these misaligned people, or saying no whenever they ask you to hang out with them. That's how you're going to become authentically yourself in public, and you're going to feel eventually safer when you're interacting with other people. Third shift, stop being embarrassed of who you truly are. What I mean by this is every time you don't want to, go to that party or smoke like all your peers are doing, you just feel uncomfortable and start to feel cringy or embarrassed about yourself, or especially for admitting that you don't want to do these things with them. Well, if you keep listening to that shame and taking action so you don't feel embarrassed in front of other people, you are sacrificing your true self. But then you need to realize that authenticity, living a life that is fully authentic to you, is going to make you happier. Every time you fake a mask to fit in, to be accepted by society even, you are betraying your own self. We are put in this earth for a certain reason. We all had different experiences, different tastes and passions, and why do you want to blend in with others? The more you blend in, the more you are saying to your brain that your purpose is not important. The universe gave you a specific purpose to fulfill in this earth, and you're not doing it. Being authentically yourself is going to make your life 10 times more fulfilling, and it's going to make you more magnetic and happier. Once I dropped out of high school to pursue content creation full time, to follow my passion, purpose, even though deep down I felt a little bit of shame and embarrassment to say it to my classmates, to my family members, and I was afraid and I was feeling anxious about it, and everyone was disagreeing with me or misunderstanding me, and I felt so alone. But that's the thing that no one has the courage to do. I would rather live a life that is 100% aligned with my own values, to live a life that is aligned with my intuition, that makes me happier, even though everyone around me is misunderstanding me and thinking that I'm strange and weird for making that decision. Instead of faking a mask, doing things that society is going to accept, avoid discomfort of being embarrassed, being judged, and deep down underneath it all, feeling unfulfilled, misaligned, and feeling that regret of, oh my god, why I didn't listen to my intuition to do this and that. I don't want to regret my life when I'm going to be freaking 80 years old. I want to look back and say, oh my god, even though a lot of people criticized me, said that I was crazy. I lived a life that was completely aligned and unique with me. I lived a life that was so peaceful and fulfilled. You know, I value more my peace, my happiness than what other people are going to think about me, about my weirdness or craziness. That's how you're going to live a life that is deeply, authentically aligned with your true self. Like literally, that's how the happiest people in this earth live their life. And yeah, comment down below which sentence hit you deep down on your heart. Wait, if your confidence feels strong only when life is going right, which is a trap, then watch this video. See you there, Gemini!